Was the worst year for a lot of us for our mental as well as physical health. So joining us this morning is best-selling author, coach Lisa Goldenthal.
Hello and welcome. I'm Lisa G, your host. You're at the top of your game, yet the game is changing faster than ever. Strategies that got you here aren't the ones that'll keep you here. The pressure is relentless, and the fear of obsolescence looms large. That's why I'm here. Welcome to the new podcast series, Disrupted: How to Be Gritty and Unlock Performance in Business, Mindset, Wellness, and Success to help you master disruption.
Thanks for coming, and I'll see you soon.
He's a life coach, host of the Body Mastery podcast, helps people stop yo-yo dieting, successfully master weight loss, weight maintenance, health, energy, and vitality. Welcome to the show, Alex Yehorov.
Hi, Lisa. How are you doing today?
Great, Alex. Thank you so much for being here. I know we had a chance to talk off camera, and then it's so amazing how we're so aligned in so many things. So let's jump right into the content. What strategies do you use to lose weight and keep it off for life?
Well, after my almost 9 years of weight loss journey and my health transformation, first of all, I will start with a little bit of my story, okay? First of all, I didn't start like most of the people overweight big time, and all of a sudden I decided to lose weight. It started back in 2012 when I found myself working 9 to 5 as a minor, and my salary was about $100 to $150 per month. I wasn't happy. I wasn't rich. I was abusing drugs. I was from time to time, I was abusing alcohol. Actually, every night, at least 6 times a week, I was drinking so much beer and vodka. So I was drinking a lot. I was smoking 2 packs of cigarette a day. And
Wow.
Overall, just to clear the picture, the life was miserable. Now, it's not the worst part of my life that I hit rock bottom multiple times in my life, as most of us, but that was where my at least body transformation began. I found myself skinny. I found myself unhappy, incredibly insecure, even though I was hiding that through through this fighting mode, through this, I was very aggressive, first of all, very toxic, where in reality, I wasn't the fighter. I was the loser, the little boy who was basically lost, who didn't know that goals exist, that you can dream of something, you can achieve something. I was playing video games, I was drinking, I was working, and life literally was really miserable. And this is where I decided, hey, I feel a lot of self-esteem issues and I don't have self-confidence. Maybe I will start lifting weights a little bit here and there, because I remember when I was growing up, my father, since I was 6 years old, 7 years old, already was teaching me how to do push-ups, pull-ups, all of that great stuff. And I was doing that back then. Yeah, but then when the time hit, when, it's high school, you usually stop doing the good stuff. You usually start drinking, partying,
Yes, I've
all
been
of
there.
that. Then
thank you for being honest with your story and your journey of how you came to health. Thank you.
That's the beginning, you can say. And then I start lifting weight. I didn't eat properly yet. I didn't do anything crazy, no mindset training, no meditation, nothing like that. I started just from lifting weight, and sure enough, it started building momentum, start putting on some little bit muscle here and there. But then I figured, hey, actually I'm gaining some weight. I start diving into the nutrition portion, because before I thought, hey, fitness is you lifting weight and everything is great. It wasn't like that. I met different fitness guru back then who preached to me eat 6 to 12 times a day rice and lean chicken. That wasn't fun. It was awful. I felt all the time bloating, so awful. I couldn't even lift the weight sometimes because my food was like going outside of me. It's crazy. I'm sorry for saying that, but it's true. I remember, and this is where I actually realized that fitness and health completely 2 different things.
Yes.
You need to know how to train to not harm you. You need to know how to lift. You need to know how to exercise, how to eat, and what to eat, and why to eat, and when. That's how I started diving into different diets, different nutritional protocols. I did paleo diet, bulletproof diet by Dave Asprey, ketogenic diet, many ways, dirty keto, not dirty. I spent so many years figuring things out before I built my nutritional plan, right? That works for me. And one of the best things that I found for myself was intermittent fasting, roughly about 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And slowly, as I started diving into the nutrition part and the fasting, it didn't happen all of a sudden. I still was smoking a little bit, still was partying a little bit, but life, when you start doing one healthy habit, slowly it brings to another, and then before you know it, they start added up, and
Yes.
I found myself less drinking, stop using drugs all of a sudden. It took me 19 years of smoking and drinking cigarettes and alcohol consuming, 19 long years. But what I found for myself, the silly phrase that people say, never give up, it's actually so true. Because imagine if at 18 years of consuming that drugs and alcohol and cigarettes, I would stop. I would never know that the true Alex actually exists inside of me, right?
Yeah.
So I'm very happy, and I always promote this idea that I know, my friend, life is hard sometimes, but never give up. The best is yet to come, and it too shall pass. So that's one of the things that was keeping me going. I didn't have the great strategies back then yet, especially for the mindset and the emotions. I still was pretty toxic, negative, but I started learning from different people in different self-development areas, not just for the weight loss and health and nutrition, but just how to meditate. What's the meditation? Why this? Why that? What about emotion? Oh, I can control emotion. How come? I thought I'm crazy freak. I thought I'm broken because I was very angry all the time. I was fighting a lot. Again, it was pretty rough time, but through this transformation, as you see, I've gone through not only body weight loss transformation. By the way, I lost about 35 pounds. It wasn't like huge, but the proportion of my body changed. I've gained some more lean muscles and lost this. And most importantly, I've gained this self-esteem, confidence, and it doesn't necessarily come from the body or the way I look. It comes through all of the struggles that I overcame. And I had a lot more addictions that I'm probably not going to touch because it's going to be too long of the story, but even biting nails for 20 years. And it sounds like, hey, why are you biting? Well, it's addiction,
It's anxiety too. I mean, there's so much to unpack with your story. It's like, I love the fact of never give up. And I love how you started everything that you mentioned in one step at a time, rather than trying to make over your whole life all at once. So give us a little bit more information now about your strategies.
Yeah. So, again, as I told you, I was going through my transformation, and then I started slowly building the whole system. And then I started experimenting with my family members and whatnot, and systems start working. So I start actually sharing it on my YouTube channel, podcast, and things like that. And I've kind of nailed the system that I've learned from different people and a little bit narrow it down for myself. And I call it the Body Mastery Roadmap. It's a 7-step for creating lasting change. It's for losing weight and finally keeping it off. Because I also forgot to mention that I've gone through 4 years roughly of binge eating addiction, and it was maybe even worse than the drug addiction. It's crazy. It's really
embarrassing
crazy
too, like when you have to admit that to yourself and other people. But I appreciate your authenticity and your willingness to share everything, because my podcast is really about being unstoppable and resilient and how to keep pushing through no matter what. And that's why I wanted to talk to you. That's why I love your story. And I know we're so aligned. We talked so much off camera about things that we both believe in. So anything else you want to share about being unstoppable with your strategies?
Yes, let me actually share those 7 steps for creating the body of your dreams, the Body Mastery Roadmap. So step number 1, and I just want to say it right away. I just interviewed you recently, Lisa, and not audience doesn't know that, but I know you're very big on forgiving yourself. And that's actually one of my first step in the formula, in the roadmap, because yes, you will create the vision, the strategies, this and that. But at first, before you starting something, each of us already fell off the wagon. Each of us already multiple times, for those at least who tune in, many times fell off the wagon, promised that you're going to start eating clean or you're going to start doing exercise. And then after the week or something, you lose it again. And then you beat yourself up. I've been there many times in different areas of my life. Again, I mentioned a couple of addictions and the business failure. I'm not going to touch in that podcast, but I've been failing many times. What I've learned through this process, I already said, never give up. But first of all, you have to forgive yourself. You have to embrace the failure, because failure, it's actually each and every failure. You have to reframe that. It's actually not bad stuff. It's something good that you always can learn it from, as long as you learn. If you're not learning anything, yes, you're probably beating yourself up and feeling like a loser. You have to learn from every failure in your life. And even Thomas Edison, to be honest, only created the light bulb after 10,000 failures. But how did he reframe that? He said, hey, it's not a failure. I just found 9,999 ways how you cannot create the light bulb. You know what I'm saying?
I've done that myself. I believe so strongly in forgiving yourself and failing forward. And I know that feeling of insanity of repeating the same behavior and expecting different results, of making the same mistake over and over and over again. So as long as you're learning from the experience, that's the main thing, and forgiving yourself for failing, because we've all been through so much lately. That's why I released my podcast. I want to help people fail forward, bounce back better. So you've been through a lot, and I love your story. So the step one you're saying is
forgive yourself,
for self-forgiveness.
Yes, self-forgiveness, embrace failure, and raise your standards back and keep on pushing. Now, step number 2 is, well, you need to know where to raise your standards. So step number 2 is create a goal. You need to have the vision. You need to know your outcome. You need to know where you're going. I love the Arnold Schwarzenegger saying that if you don't have the goal, if you don't have the vision, you're just drifting around and you're never going to be happy and you're never going to get nowhere. So you have to have the goal. You have to have the vision, because it's so important in any area. If it's your body, you want to create the change, you have to visualize. You have to do mental rehearsal. You have to have those steps. You have to, and in fact, everything I say right now, guys, I don't want you just to listen. I'm very, very confident in that things that successful people separates from the people who are not achieving success is to actually take in action. And right now I said to you, step number 1, forgive yourself. What I want you to do is, after you maybe you pause this podcast, or after the podcast you schedule that, I wanted to sit for 30 minutes, close your eyes, and maybe listen to your heart and really forgive yourself, let it go, or just through the journal. It depends on what I'm not pushing either agenda. I wanted you to really schedule the time with yourself when you're going to deep dive with yourself and forgive yourself for not following through. No matter what you've done in the past, I don't care. The past does not equal the future. Please take this step. I know it's hard sometimes because it's going to be painful, but you will free yourself up.
Thanks for encouraging you guys to write this down, take action. And then where do we go after the goals for step 3?
With step 2, you also do the same. I wanted you to set up the time and write your goal. Goal supposed to be SMART. It's an acronym from specific, measurable, achievable. Supposed to be not crazy, but achievable, and supposed to be timed. Of course, some kind of deadline. And step number 3 is to get leverage. You have to get leverage on yourself. You have to create from the I should eat that, I should exercise. You have to absolutely have to make it a must. How are you going to make it a must? There is a couple of ways you can go about it, and there is different exercises. But what I do recommend is to use the power, the unseenable power, called the 2 forces that controlling human behavior, is to desire to avoid pain and to gain pleasure, because sometimes it's messed up in our head, and those signals doesn't really work for our advantage. For example, you want to lose weight, but at the same time, this chocolate bar is so tasty and it's right in front of you, and your focus here. So you dive here, you're going to get the pleasure right now. And the pain of being overweight is somewhere far. It's not here. It's, oh yeah, someday probably I will get the fat. But imagine if you will eat this chocolate bar and within a second, you will get this amount of fat right sticking from your belly. That's going to be ugly. That's going to be disgusting. And that's the power of the pain and the pleasure. And you have to create this vision for that and actually rehearse it in your head. But to simplify things, I want to say that you just can create those. You need to find your own whys. And it's also exercise. It's practical. You sit down for, again, 30 minutes. You can do longer than that, but you sit down for at least 30 minutes and you write down all of your whys, all of your why, all of your reasons. Why you want to create this body, why you want to stop indulging in that food, why you want to free yourself up for this addiction of this food, of this feeling frustrated, angry, disappointed, whatever the case might be. I want you to sit down and go as deep as you can. Why? Maybe it's for your kids. Maybe it's for your wife. Maybe it's for your spouse. Maybe to make more money, build career, because, health is actually affecting not only the weight of your body and the look of your body. It's spilling over to the emotions that you carry, to the mindset, to the relationship, to the business, everything. When you fix your health, the whole life going to be affected. So I really wanted you to understand the importance of it, and actually take your time, not just listening to me talking or Lisa talking. It's good that you tune into our podcast and this and that, but I wanted you to apply. And it doesn't supposed to be perfect. It doesn't supposed to be each step to the T. Start slowly and you're going to build momentum. Now that's step number 3, utilizing pain and pleasure. Find your why, find your reasons, so you can make it a must for yourself to reach the goal that you want to. Now, step number 4 is also crucial. I'm going to touch it a little bit because it's just a huge topic, but basically is to eliminating your limiting beliefs and installing empowering instead. We all know those voices, those thoughts, those demons, those habits, those urges, whatever you call those pattern. It can be called many ways depending on what you believe, but it's basically, it's still none of those. It's beliefs that are limiting us. All of those voices, and I've heard many of them in my head. You know.
Yes, we've all had them, especially
we all had
with trauma. You know, the limiting beliefs. You feel like the past equals the present, but it doesn't.
Yes. It doesn't. For example, one of them that I had is I was talking to myself. I mean, the belief was talking, right? The thought, hey, you stopped binge eating 7 days ago. Let's do it one more time. Or with alcohol was the same. The urge is saying, hey, please, I promise, Alex, it's last time, and then we stop. And I hearing that, and I used to believe that, and I would go and indulge into this destructive behavior. And then I found myself all the time keep on doing that. Now, when I hear this voice, I'm asking, is it really true? Who is talking in my head? Is it true Alex, the unleashed, the unstoppable true Alex that I know, or this is BS, which is belief system, by the way, and BS at the same time?
BS. It's so true. It's like you're not a dog, so you don't have to give yourself a treat like food or alcohol like that.
So, and it's also a practical step. You think I'm talking some crazy mindset that is hard to touch. In fact, I wanted you to set up the time for that, or just going about your day from time to time, start building your focus, your mental awareness. It's not necessarily supposed to be done through meditation, which also actually helps, and I do recommend, but just from time to time, just close your eyes or with eyes open, look what is going on in your head, because every day we get in 70,000 in average 70,000 thoughts, and the most of these thoughts go into carry into the next day and the next day. So the next day, about 70% of the thoughts from the previous day, which is roughly 50,000 thoughts, would be exactly the same pattern of thinking. And then you're thinking, you're beating yourself up, oh, I will start this tomorrow, or I'm not good enough. Hey, Alex talking something that might not work. You might hear even right now the voice like, hey, I don't think it's going to work. I've tried so many diets and nothing works. You know what? I'm broken. Something wrong with me. There is many limiting beliefs, many voices can be in different areas of our life. I just wanted you to identify them, and instead of them, replace with the empowering beliefs. And there is many ways you can go about it, but just to one of them is just to question, is it really true that the voice that I'm hearing, is it really true, or it just tricking me? And then you write down empowering belief that's going to beat it. Another one, it can be affirmations, incantation. The visualization, by the way, is also when you're priming yourself, believing in you and seeing this incredible future. It's also the pattern. All of those, I mean, I can talk on and on about that, but that's basically step number 4. And in my 7 steps of the body mastery roadmap. And step number 5 would be, is to modeling success, creating a plan, and start taking action now. Better now. So
I love that.
Action. Again, you see, I'm talking all the time. Forgive yourself. Action. And we're very similar with you, Lisa, on that term, because we probably found for ourselves that it works not only for the body, but any success in life you want to get, you need to stop beating yourself up. You need to forgive yourself. You need to visualize. You need to see where you're going. What's your goal? What you want to achieve? If you don't know what to achieve, how are you going to get there? How you will know even that you got there? And then you need to overcome your limiting beliefs. You need to use the pain, the pleasure, find your whys and your reasons. And then again, the step number 5, I will repeat, is to find someone who already succeed, It might be coach. You can hire a coach, or you can go to the gym, or you can find a meal plan on the internet from the, I don't know, it can be anybody who already in your environment. Maybe it's your friend or even your mom. I don't know who. Find someone who already achieved the goal that you desire. Find someone who already lost weight, for example, and keep it off for years. And that's where you can start modeling that person slowly, step by step. Don't do everything they do, but at least slowly you will start adapt, and it will start improving, and someday it will click, and you will do, you will not believe where you're going to be and how those little steps on a daily consistent basis adds up over the period of 1 year, 10 years, or whatever. So step number 5 is simple. Find somebody to follow and start taking action. Create the plan, start taking small but consistent actions. Now, step number 6 is quite simple. I call it analytic. You absolutely have to analyze what's working, what's not. You have to look, hey, I'm eating that type of food. Do I feel good after that? Is my sleep better? Do I lose weight? Or even better, do I feel my emotions better? Or sometimes it's an okay way to weight yourself, but sometimes it's water retention or whatever the case might be. I would recommend person to see in the mirror and see, did your proportion of the body changed compared to the weight itself? Because it might be tricky a little bit. Although it's still analytic, you still can use weights, and not against weights. I'm just saying there's many ways you can measure the progress. It's not always just the weight on the scale. How about more important thing? Maybe your sleep improved. Maybe your mood improved. Maybe now your confidence, you go about your life, you're more friendly with your family and friends. Maybe you're more confident with the opposite sex, or you building more business, you have more energy, vitality, whatever. What I want you to do is, again, paying good attention to those markers of the improvement or not improvement. You need to analyze what's working, what's not. And then the last step is step number 7. Basically, you keep what's working and remove what's not working, and then refine your pattern. Again, you would not need to do that if you have the coach who already guiding you this process, but we're talking right now about how you can create those lasting changes for yourself. If you don't have the coach or system, you're going to refine it. You're going to look what's working and then remove what's not working till you will achieve the success, the body of your dreams, and you can actually keep lasting results. That was my 7th step, the body mastery roadmap.
Well, thanks, Alex Yehorov. You're so amazing. I can't believe you fit all of that into such a short podcast, and you shared your 7 steps. I hope you guys are taking notes. Where can people find you?
Okay, first of all, I do have my podcast and YouTube channel, which is the same name, The Body Mastery with Alex Yehorov. Yehorov is basically Yehorov. Now, I actually has a special present that I want to share with the audience. And if you go to biohackbody.com/freebie, you will find there the whole body mastery roadmap that I just laid down for you with the actionable steps. You will find my 12 nutritional principles that I laid down for you guys. It's a bundle. It's a 3-in-1. It's a roadmap. It's the nutritional principle for health and vitality. And it's also some of my best dessert recipes that I plug there. So it's 3-in-1 body mastery bundle.
I love dessert. Thank you for that, Alex. You're awesome. And
go to biohackbody.com/freebie. Biohack is basically BYOHACK/BODY/freebie.
Is it BIO?
BIO, yes.
Biohackbody.com/freebie.
Yes. And if you want to find more about me, just go to or work with me directly one-on-one, just go to biohackbody.com. Those are the best places you can find me.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you, Lisa.